Then in 2011, we got a far more faithful version of Disneyland Park in Kinect Disneyland Adventures. This faithfully recreates the park layout, minus corporate sponsorship and Lucasfilm rides since this was before the buyout, but much like all the earlier video games, the attractions are represented with mini-games, most of which are built around the Kinect motion control. But then in 2017, the game was re-released for Xbox One and Windows as simply Disneyland Adventures, no Kinect required, so there's also controller and keyboard controls available. I couldn't get either of the Xbox versions or the Windows version to work on my MacBook no matter what emulator I use, so I played the Windows version on my roommate's computer, which is a bit old and slow, so I played it on the lowest possible graphics settings, and even then the controls weren't super responsive. I can't judge if that's a problem with the game itself or just the computer I was using, so I won't let that factor into my review too much. I just want to see how this game represents the Haunted Mansion. I approached the mansion and noticed that the area that was at the time the Fast Pass station just leads right into the main queue, which has the singing bus. That's fun. Then I ran past all the people waiting in line to skip ahead because I'm the main character and I wait for nothing, except the loading screen, which has me falling in space for an approximate eternity. But once it got close to loading, I was given the helpful advice of don't tumble into something, which is just good to keep in mind throughout life, and careful of the painting. As soon as we enter the mansion, we find ourselves outside the exterior we just came in through, but now it's dark. In fairness, that does sometimes happen in actual Disneyland Resort attractions. And we get Paul's dialogue read by Corey. At least he's not doing Hans this time. But as soon as I'm inside, a ghost warns me to go back, so I run into the stretching room where Leota is mad that I've shown up. I guess this is another villain Leota take. So the room stretches and the ghosts drop me and the gameplay begins as I collect coins while trying not to tumble into something, and Corey reads Paul's lines in a seemingly random order.
Is this haunted room actually stretching? Or is it your imagination? Of course, there's always my way.
You know, conversations mean things, right? With the very occasional new line that actually justified hiring Corey instead of just reusing Paul's audio. There's iconic pieces of mansion furniture that you don't want to bump into. Is the coffin occupant waving at me? That's fun. Then there's this bit where I figured out too late that what you're supposed to do is make the pose in the hole to fit through the painting. This was clearly designed for Kinect motion controls. Still, as far as I can tell, the worst thing that happens if you screw up in the game is you lose some coins. There seems to be no actual death in this game, so even the tedious parts here are far less frustrating than in most of the other games I've played. The second mansion minigame is Escape the Mansion, where you're moving from room to room and there's ghosts, and you're supposed to defeat them. You can do this either by shining a flashlight on them for long enough, or just by ducking and letting them go. That counts as winning. If they fly over you while you're ducked, you get the points, even if it looks like they touched you. If they go through you while you don't duck, you get hurt. But again, there's no actual death in this game, so do whatever you want. Really, the only thing you need to do in this part is move your character so they don't just get stuck behind something. You go through several mansion rooms and can choose some alternate paths at some point. Each room is a fun rendering, even if the actual gameplay is a tad repetitive and uninvolved. Then when you're done with all that, you move up the stairs and Phineas possesses this suit of armor and becomes a completely different ghost and starts chasing you. And on the PC version, you're supposed to repeatedly hit P to run, not just hold it, as I eventually figured out. But again, no death, so even if he catches you, he doesn't really catch you. He just keeps chasing you, down the hallway, around the conservatory, through the corridor, and eventually into the seance room. Then in a cutscene, you knock the grandfather clock into him, because it's not like defeating him might have made for fun gameplay. And now you're in the seance room, moving around the table while Leota chants that things fly at you. Once again, you attack ghosts with the flashlight, and you can kill Leota with the flashlight, but I don't wanna.
Unlock the crypt with a skeleton key.
Key? Crypt? Damn it, are you the movie version of Leota? That's it, you're dead. That didn't feel good. I don't like killing Leota. But you don't have to kill Leota, you can just make your way around the table and leave. And making it through the room defeats her off camera or something. Now you're in the ballroom, and as you make your way down, Constance is the big boss now. I guess she didn't want to wait for you to come to the attic. I'm more okay killing Constance than Leota because, you know, Constance is a murderer. There are other ghosts that aren't bothering you, and you can defeat them, but you don't have to. This isn't like the side-scrollers. The ones who aren't bothering you can just be ignored. Although if you only destroy one dancer, it is kind of funny watching their partner just continue to dance without them. What? Oh, she's gone? Oh, I hadn't noticed. I was only thinking about me. Anyway, you make your way through the ballroom, skip the attic and the graveyard, and get a final cutscene with the hitchhikers. The gameplay is nothing to write home about, but I like seeing the mansion characters and rooms rendered here. I would love a full game with these assets, something on the scale of the 2003 game, but, you know, more fun than that.
So hurry back, we would like your company.